We started this weekend with 16 teams from across Canada and the world, and now we're down to just two. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Curling Stadium Martensville International, where we have the finals between Team Scott Howard and Korey Dropkin. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Shawn Joyce. And Shawn, it's been quite a weekend of curling.
It has. Started Friday morning. Everybody played 4 games in the preliminary round. There was even a tiebreaker late Saturday night. The curl has held up well on these rocks that would have been conditioned before it was started. And as for today, you can see the Dropkin team just waiting for the go-ahead to get started here. They're looking pretty loose. They do not have last rock here in the first end. I'm actually surprised he threw draw weight. I thought, the success he's had stealing today, you could have thrown Peel on that draw to the button. Made sure you were throwing first here, but it was close. Both players hit the forefoot.
We just had somebody in the washroom, and he assured the opponents that they washed hands. And we're going to be underway. It's going to be Korey Dropkin from Duluth, Minnesota, throwing the Yellowstones here. And his lead is Mark Fenner. Calls the first one in the rings.
Special treat for Mark's grandmother. They very rarely get to see the lead's first stone in these broadcasts. After I put the pressure on him like that, he better make it.
Shout out to all the family members watching. I know Team Dropkin has some going, and I'm sure Team Howard has family members watching as well. And of course, lots of fans. So we have this one, the center line guard. It is on the center line, so that can't be ticked off the center line. Scott Howard asks Tim March to come right on in. This one comes right to the top 4. Dropkin's going to go 11-5. Nice little easy weight takeout. This one needs to curl over. It's not going to. Gonna slip on out of the rings.
Get away with it on that one. If this one's half around and you slip on out of the rings again, you'll see Scott Howard peel the guard. Can't do it just yet.
Jason and Matt Cam on the brush here. Matt finishing it off.
Tougher chase, so he's looking at the run back this time.
And nothing saying you can't run your own back. Here's Andrew Sapera. Runs it just on by. Rolls to a corner guard. We'll see what Scott Howard elects to do here. So they're going to draw to the wing.
Yeah, I thought they might look at trying to draw around that guard from the wide side. The problem with coming around it from the center line side is if you ever leave a piece of it open, you might leave a double. There's not going to be a lot of room between the two reds. You go very wide to the outside. You spread the rocks out as much as you can. Try to hold a deuce. If it ends up as a blank, Scott won't be disappointed with that either. Keep blast rock into the even end.
They're going to take a run at this double here.
Yeah, it's flat, but it's there. It's only about 4 feet between them, maybe even a little less than that.
Stapera coming with peel weight, picking this up right out of his hand. Get the one, roll on over. You're going to make contact and clear it out. Look at that again. Just held it enough there, Shawn.
Yeah, I mean, it was thick. It was always going to be thick. The saving grace here is you didn't have to move the second one very far to get it out. He moves it just far enough, puts it to the divider. Now, for the time being, both teams will probably be trying to stay away from that guard.
Throwing third stones for Team Dropkin is Tom Howell.
Yeah, it's a long roll. It's just a little too tough, and you'd hate to roll halfway there and make it easier for your opposition. And that's true for both teams right now. But if you ever rolled out, and really, I think you could say that for either team. You roll out, you could see a come around. It could turn into a force or a deuce. So these stones all need to stay.
And it will stay very wide.
And as it climbs up further into the house, sooner or later, there's going to be a situation where somebody might have to roll in just to make sure they're in the rings. Could be in the next shot. If you hit this right on the nose, I don't think Korey could nose it again and be in.
Matt Cam on the third stones. And they are going to have to play the roll, and they're going to take it on the long one.
I didn't think he'd try this quite this early. You could roll just a few inches and bite the 12-foot.
This roll looks pretty darn good. Picture perfect from Tom Howell.
Sweeping for curl for the last half, and it, I think, surprised them how much it jumped off. You could see Korey was ready to sweep it across, and it jumped all the way across easily on its own. Forces the run back.
And the run back is going to be made.
Did
leaving
roll
his
to the
center
center.
guard. So Korey will come right underneath now. With his first to Skip now residing in Duluth, Minnesota, originally from the Boston area. Their team is the reigning U.S. national champions. will be representing the USA in Moose Jaw. Got to go for line now. This is picking up some curl. And it is going to be on the guard.
No, I think he's by.
It did make it. Oh, my goodness.
But he's probably going to poke out the other side. Well, just a little bit. Not very far. The run's probably still easier than the chase.
We've seen Scott Howard make so many of these hits this weekend. And they missed the sweep. So Dropkin's going to have an opportunity in line 2. He's going to leave probably a run back or a very difficult drill for Scott Howard.
I told you when he didn't get the hammer, he had them right where he wanted them.
Well, he's had the hammer, 3 times today?
Yeah. And he scored 10 points with it, but he's stolen the start of the game in both games earlier today, the quarterfinal and the semi, and he's sitting pretty good to perhaps steal right here in the first end again.
Dropkin with his last of the first. Here I'm saying top 12 here. Want to get under this and really want to be in the rings if you can. And you do get a piece. It's going to be a draw to the side of the button. Dropkin line 2.
Yeah, probably would have liked to have gotten that a little tighter. You get into the top 8, maybe even just nibble 4. You want to get a little bit farther behind than that, but then Scott Howard might have to make a decision. Do you want to draw against 2 rocks that are biting the forefoot? Or do you play the run back and try to at least make sure that it's no worse than 1? But that one only getting to the 12, he's got to feel like he's pretty sure he can outdraw it to at least hold them to 1. He does have enough room, the edge of the button, to get the point yet.
So facing 2. Final stone in the first end for Scott Howard.
Yeah, this is going to be tight to that rock in the top of the 4.
They're going for everything. They're going to get past it, but they're not going to out-count it. So it is a steal 1 for Korey Dropkin to start this game. Howard has a hammer when we come back from Martensville right after this. Welcome back to Martensville. It's the finals of the Curling Stadium, Martensville International. Korey Dropkin got a steal in the first end. Scott Howard trying to make some noise here in the second. Dave Schmel and Shawn Joyce here with you. Thank you so much for joining us on Curling Stadium. If you get a chance, please take an opportunity to like the video. Subscribe to us so you never miss any of that action.
We didn't have a chance to see what they called with the first one, but whatever it was, he missed it because that was not what you wanted. You didn't want to see a rock half in the 12-foot, allowed the opportunity for the Howard team to make the nose hit. They get rid of the yellow. They stay in the free guard zone themselves.
So Fenner trying to get this under. Just going to leave it edge on edge.
I was looking at the run, too. You could make the run and roll off the center line.
So on the way for March. Matt Cam rolls it over and they lie one in the wings, just a touch behind the tee line. Andrew Stapera test with the takeout.
And this could be interesting because this is far enough over and far enough back that no matter what you do here, Scott Howard might make an offensive play with the next shot.
Hit stays right there.
No, he's going to hit it.
Yeah, he's just going to let it be right there.
He had a couple of options if he wanted to play offense. He could have frozen to it. He could come around his own guard in the middle. I don't think he'd play the split this early.
They say they're good, and they are. Just going to keep on exchanging hits here for the moment.
Yeah, if you weren't going to play the freeze last time, you're certainly not going to do it now that it's two rocks in front of the tee line.
Certainly have to stay in the rings, though. And they will. And it's going to be Korey taking the first shot at it.
These are always so tough. You want to make the roll behind, but you don't want to make it so good that they can stuff the run back in and leave it buried. It's tricky when you're trying to roll behind the other team's guard.
This is going to get some roll, but not enough. So it's probably Howard's turn now.
Yeah, it was enough roll to make it easier for the Howard team.
Firm board weight is the call. Don't want to let this overroll. It's going to creep out the other side. They could probably chase if they want, or do you think they ever just run back and play for the double here?
They could. You'd love to, if you're Dropkin, you'd love to run it straight back, get the 2 reds, and leave your shooter right there on the center line. He's going to play the chase. They've been good at these today.
They are going to pick it and stay in the rings.
And that's far enough back now that Scott Howard can't really try to roll back behind the middle. You roll behind the middle, you're deep enough that Dropkin can freeze on top of it, and then you're liable to get forced.
Or worse.
Or worse. Well, it'd be deep still at that point in the time, but you'd like to keep your options open. If you hit and roll to the outside a little bit and Korey ever happened to roll out, you've still got the split available on the stone at the top.
And that is just hanging on the outside. Korey's going to have to hit it. These are no gimmies.
They aren't. You don't get to throw out here that often. You're only in the second end. It's probably a little fresh out here. You don't know what it's going to do. If this curls up on you, very easy to roll out. And if you roll out, there's a split available at the top. And I don't know whether Scott will play it, but here's the thing. If you hit this right on the nose, the split's available to sit too. We're late enough in the end. As long as you don't leave him a double, you're probably getting a deuce if you play that. So he's got to try to roll in full 12 anyway. If he could get a piece of the 8-foot, that probably takes the split away.
On it hard for straight here. Gonna get the hit. That probably rolls in enough.
Yeah.
Now Scott's gonna go with the draw. Do you like that option, Shawn?
Well, I don't hate it. It's your own guard. If you make it decent enough that Korey's got to play a run back on it, you're still going to have a chance at the blank. And it goes back to, we talk about it so much, but teams are so aware of the odd and even ends. Scott's willing to take chances here at an even end that he wouldn't necessarily have taken in an odd end. Because if he gets stuck with one here, well, he's still got, presumably, unless there's blank ends, he's still got the hammer in the even ends. You bury this really well, and Korey's got to make a good one to stop a shot for 2.
So Scott Howard trying to apply the pressure here in the second. Getting awfully tight to the guard. They just wick it.
They did not manage that very well on the way down.
And I believe that Dropkin is still shot here.
He is, but it's
Doesn't
risky
matter.
to play any kind of draw and risk leaving a double for 2.
So just hit this right in the beak and then have him draw for 1.
Yep. Nice thing about this is if you hit it right on the nose, you'll take away the draw path he just threw. He'll either have to go wider or go to the other side. given the choice, I do think, and I don't get a lot of chances to call Scott's games, so I don't see him a ton, but I do think, if I remember correctly, he has a preference for the intern, so you can kind of take away the intern draw here, nose hit, or even roll 2 or 3 inches to the broom side.
Lots of cleaning. This is going to be just fine.
Yep. Yeah, definitely in the way of the draw. If he wants to play an intern, he's going to have to hit the one in the back of the 8.
That's what he's going to do.
That's a pretty pronounced preference for one turn over the other. And lots of players have that. Lots of skips have it. It doesn't mean that he can't throw the out turn. There's just a comfort level with the in this case for Scott. Sometimes it's the thrower's preference, and in some cases it comes down to, for instance, in this lineup, Tim March is the inside sweeper on Scott's in turn.
So final sum of the second end, facing 2, Scott Howard. Hit and stick for 1. And he does it. So the all tied up after 2. We'll be back from Martensville right after this. You're watching Curling Stadium. We're in the third end for the finals here at the Martensville Curling Stadium International. All tied up. Korey Dropkin has the hammer here in the third.
This is early for Korey to have the hammer in a game. Hasn't had it before the 5th yet today.
That one from Mark Fenner came just a skosh deep. Howard wastes no time in asking for the drawdown.
You say that all the time, and I'm feeling like I need a definition. How do you spell that, so I can look it up?
Skosh.
All righty.
It's more than a bit or a sliver.
Okay.
Well, it's more than a sliver, but less than a bit. And then you have to worry. Then you have to worry, Shawn, whether it's an imperial skosh or a metric skosh, because they're two different things.
Well, the dictionary definition that came up on the Google search just says it's a small amount, a little, and then it gives the example. The car could do with a skosh more room in the back. And the first thing that came to my mind is things you can say about your car that you can't say about your girlfriend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shawn Joyce.
I've been watching too many the Who's Line Is It Anyway clips lately.
I just feel vindicated. It's in the dictionary.
It didn't have your picture beside it, if that's what you were expecting.
Oh, they're trying to sell the book. So in the meantime, Dropkin lights too.
Yeah, not going to be able to make the double on the yellows just because of the angle everything is at. So he's looking to jam the red onto the yellow, jam the yellow onto the yellow at the back. Doesn't want to roll it over. He wouldn't want to put it in front of his own.
Distinct possibility that could happen, though.
Yeah, it's queued up to go that way a little bit.
Marchie's on this hard. Push it back, onto it, and dead stuff it exactly as called and made. Good look at the angles in this one.
Yeah, it leaves Dropkin sitting 1, but it's behind the tee line. And the problem for Dropkin is, what do you do about the guard and the rock in the 8-foot? Then he's freezing.
good conversation, electing to peel the center here. Probably looking to work their way back to a blank end if they can.
Well, yeah, I think part of the conversation is they want to keep the shooter for a corner guard. Just not sure whether they're planning to make contact with anything in the rings or not. That's going to be a little thinner than they had in mind. Yeah, I'm going to argue there's 3 shots then. If they peeled the guard, maybe you should put it back. Nothing wrong with this either, but the guard's an option. If Dropkin didn't like it there, then that's usually one of the things I've told even young teams when I'm coaching them. If the other team didn't want it there, then maybe you should put it back.
You got to go. Got to drag it. Getting really close. Just squeak it by and onto the lid.
Well, if you knew you could make it that well, that's what you'd play for sure. He got across the face of the yellow, which means all the smash opportunities aren't going to work so well for Korey. You know, if that stays queued up that much on the other side of the yellow, he could just smash this and make maybe 3 rocks go away, maybe even all 4. Right now, I don't see how he's killing more than 1 red, and he's going to lose the yellow, likely to do it. I guess he could play the double on the reds the other way, but then you're going to see a guard go up. He's got to deal with that stone on the button right here.
Looks like he's okay with losing his yellow.
Well, he better be, because that stone on the button needs to move, and he's not saving his own at the back of the 4. If you don't get that rock off the button here, you'll see a guard go up.
So here's Stopera. Get them all moving. Does it go out the back all the way? It does. So you have 2 stones for Howard in the ring, 1 for Dropkin.
Yeah, it's probably the best you could have done. You got a lot of the shrapnel out of the back of the 4-foot area, which is going to open up some scoring area. Kind of a bonus to touch the 3rd red, because it moved it back maybe close to another foot. So even after this is made, there's going to be nothing better than full 8-foot.
Pushes this one through, and they lie 3. Now you're going to see Korey Dropkin try to find his way to a blank. Tom Howe's got bring the smoke here. Gonna get the one, get the other one. Does it get all the way out? No, it stays there.
Didn't leave it in a terrible spot, though. He could play a freeze to that later on. Scott knows that. He doesn't really have a good setup for any kind of an offensive opportunity.
Good point made there.
Yeah, I hate that. Then he's freezing the back one.
How about that, Shawn? You like that?
It's not bad. There's probably a spot over there where it's good. There's no double there now, and the problem is where do you put another rock in the rings that you don't leave a double and heaven forbid a triple. I mean, there's a chance that he's freezing that back one here no matter what you do, unless you get a bite of the 8-foot here. And if you're anywhere in the 8-foot, he's probably leaving a double.
So Matt Cam with his second. Going to draw the wing here. Is that a safe spot?
Well, no. I mean, it might be okay, but there's choices for doubles. He's got the long one that he's looking at all the way across. Problem with this particular double is there's what 8 feet between the rocks, 9 feet between the rocks. It's real easy to hit this just a little bit wrong and roll underneath it and not get the second one at all.
On the way from Hal, looking for the big cross houser here. Push it over on the one, coming all the way across. You make contact and you clear it. Double takeout for Tom Howe.
Okay, that's one double. Now you're going to need one more to get to the blank. You only got 2 stones left, and you're probably not playing a double for the blank with your last one, so you pretty much need it on the next shot. Scott signaled he was going to try to roll a foot to the inside. I think you're better off with the nose hit. You start rolling towards the center line, and you probably make the angle for the slash a little better. This deep in the house, to play the in-off double off the one at the top of the house, it's really thin.
Hits it right in the beak.
Yeah, that's good. This double is really thin. Probably just play the hit and roll in front of it somewhere.
That's what Tom's trying to sell.
Yeah, tough to think you're going to get a blank out of that, though. The only way you get a blank out of that is if you can entice Scott Howard to hit it and roll out. The shot they haven't talked about yet, it's a possibility. It's an option. You could freeze the red, the back one. You'd be shot rock.
Yeah, just what I was thinking.
You get blinders on sometimes. They've been thinking about double after double after double to get out of it. And they made the last one. And knowing when they made the last one, hey, we make another double and we get out of this with a blank. And it doesn't even occur to them that maybe there's another shot here. The double's tough. If he just hits and rolls over in front, it depends on the angle he leaves, but Scott will definitely have a way to get it out and stay. He can make it very tough.
So Korey Dropkin going for the thin double here.
The problem with the thin double, too much of it. You hit it thick and you roll all the way across and out of play.
An LB. Splitting the rings here for Scott Howard.
This is where you'd like to know where that magical line is. There's always a spot with most teams. Now, we saw it last, and Scott Howard actually played the hit on the stone at the edge of the 8-foot. But there's always a spot where if you put it, Korey has to make a decision. Well, am I hitting that or am I drawing? And if you knew where that spot was, if you were Scott Howard, you'd put it exactly on that line and at least force him to think about 2 shots. You can see that's part of their thought, right? They're putting it where a nose hit might not be good enough to score. It would block the in-turn draw path. He'd have to play the out-turn.
Final stone from Scott Howard. Just want to get to the full 8-foot. This is sliding on them a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, they crossed that line. It's a hit now.
He's going to give it a shot.
Still for Scott Howard, he knows he's got a force here at the least. Korey just has to be a little careful not to roll out, but they throw these quiet and they manage them very well on the way down the sheet.
Final stone of the third. Dropkin needs a nose hit for 1 here. No problem. 1 yellow. He has a 1 rock lead. We're trading paper cuts here in Martensville. We'll be back in the 4th right after this. Back here in Martensville, Dropkin, a 2-1 lead. Howard with the hammer. In at number 4, Schmel and Shawn Joyce with you here, bringing you this finals of the Martensville Curling Stadium International. The center guard is up and the corner guard goes up. So we're going to see a little bit of action here in end number 4.
That's been one of the things all weekend long. These teams play so quick. We never get to see the first stone, and as the camera's coming into the view, it's always just as much a surprise to me as anyone else as to where that first one's gone. With a 1-point lead, I'm almost surprised he didn't throw that into the rings. You throw the first one into the rings, Scott's still probably throwing the guard anyway, and then you're guarding a rock in the 4-foot instead of trying to come around. I don't think there's any chance he's hitting it. Maybe if he wants to play the delayed corner, I guess.
Well, the draw is made quite well. A little, about half a rock exposed, but Howard's going to draw in. Not getting too deep involved, just using 1 guard.
Yeah. If that stone was, biting top button, he might play a freeze to it. It's up high enough in the rings. He's not really worried about that. This is your chance to use the corner.
So Tim March. The Cam boys trying to work it in. This is going to be light. Just tickles into the rings.
Yeah, if you're going to be light, that maybe it's not light enough because it could be hit now.
Stepera just looking to nose this one.
That's interesting. When it rolled over like that, it's just about touching the red if it isn't touching.
Yeah, it's side frozen. Now you can do some interesting things with that later.
You could, or you could deal with it right now, which I'd be tempted not to. But if they're going to try to make the double on the yellows in the middle, the shooter's probably coming over and disturbing those two.
Jason Cam. It's the two in the rings out.
Yeah, they were playing it straight back all the way. I thought he was playing it over the top, to be honest.
Yeah, so you see Korey here. He's thinking he can skitter the Howard rock across the top some here. Nifty shot if you make it. And goes out the back and very close to biting in the front.
Yeah, I think it's probably biting.
They're going to address it.
Certainly can roll the shooter to a wide corner. The idea of running the raised stone all the way to the other corners might be a little optimistic. You'd be happy to get it off the center line, and I think that's about as far as it's going to go.
Marchie trying to hang on to this one. Just pushes it straight back, and now you have a stagger there that Dropkin can come under.
Yeah.
So Tom Howe looking to tuck one in here. Top four is ideal. Now they're standing straight up. Back four, not so much.
And back eight's even worse. That leaves enough room that Scott Howard will try to play offense here. Little big is not what they wanted to hear. Trying to get this to curl onto the yellow because it's just way too heavy.
It does make contact, but opportunity back there for a Dropkin. Second stone from Howell. Coming in nicely. A little bump, but still pretty good.
Yeah, scoring area is getting small.
The thing about this shot is there's probably enough room for Dropkin to follow it down and take the end away.
Well, if he's all the way back to it, he doesn't have to be. You know, it's a staggered guard. He could be in the front of the 4-foot. There's nothing he can run back. But you do need to be shot rock here.
This one also looking a little bit big. Well, there's room for another for sure.
Yeah. And the Dropkin team's been getting a little bit more curl. If he could get to the inside of it, doesn't even need to move it on this one, but if he gets just to the inside of it, he could cue it up to go by the yellow-red at the back. That makes it a little scary for Scott Howard to throw any kind of weight. He'd probably have to play the out-turn draw. That might be all he has.
So Dropkin getting a chance to play some offense here in 4.
Yeah, a number of rocks in a row that have been heavy, but Dropkin's team seems to have gotten more finish on theirs.
First of 2 for the U.S. skip. They like it.
Well, didn't get the finish on that one.
They are shot rock.
But the same issue now for Scott Howard. If he could get to the inside ever so slightly, move it 3-4 inches, he could be sitting 2 again, and he'd be well in front of the tee line now. Nobody's been even close to the guards yet.
And I'm saying back 4 weight. Scott Howard trying to take the end back here. All about the curl now.
This one's moving.
It's going to get across the face for sure.
Yeah, he
Almost
almost
too far. It's right on the pin, but what does Korey Dropkin do with this?
He's got to freeze it. You'd love to move it, but they haven't had one that even been close to the guard yet, and it's scary to throw the weight. Look at how much it's overburied on the wider guard.
Are you surprised at all that they haven't come to the other side of the ice at all?
No, he needs to play this turn, because if he comes up short, at least he takes away the same shot for Scott. Same shot's still there for 3. Got to take that away.
Last of the fourth for Dropkin. This one is getting plenty of finish. A little tighter to the guard. Is that good enough? Looks like they can probably come down the other side.
He's got a shot for 2 on the other side for sure. So, I'm not going to be able to tell you if it's good enough till we see where Scott ends up. But he doesn't have a ton of room. He could get to his own. I have to think he could probably rub off his own a little bit too, because he's going to be spinning into the button area. He needs a bite of the button. Any bite of the button.
Now, we haven't seen a draw down this side in at least 10 minutes. Got to make sure you had the weight correct. Scott Howard, final stone of the fourth. He sits 1. Has to grab a piece of the button for 2.
He can make contact with his own stone. There's nowhere for it to go. If it's heavy at all.
Is this going to wick off?
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's...
No, it's just good enough. And Scott Howard gets his 2 to take a 3-2 lead after 4. Dropkin will have the hammer when we return right after this. Back in Martensville, it's end number 5. Scott Howard literally just hung up that deuce to take a 3-2 advantage. Korey Dropkin with the hammer, throwing up a corner guard.
Well, that is a long corner.
19-4. That's not quick.
Well, and we didn't see the call. Is there any chance they're thinking about 2 corners? And if they weren't before, are they now?
I think you have to think about it now.
Yeah. It'd be unusual to make that decision in an odd end.
I might want to work back to a blank then after this. Really tight for line. They do just whisker it by with that stagger there. Protection for Korey Dropkin if he can wrap one here. Mark Fenner on the come around. Trying to get every inch out of this one. Howard will freeze on down to it. You see this side of the sheet running just a touch straighter. This one bumps and Dropkin stone in, and you hear they're not too happy about that one.
No, it's not the bump in as much as the roll into the open that's got them a little bothered now. You make the roll underneath. The fact that those two are staggered up front is a problem for Scott Howard.
They really don't like it now. As evidenced.
Yeah, well, the question is, what do you do about those Reds? You hate to blast them. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going straight back. Yeah, I'll give him that one. If he just misses the stone that's touching the center line, he might be able to catch enough of the back one to clip the yellows. If you're coming off the other one, it's going to drag enough. I don't see it going straight back. We'll see. Ooh, that was a big in-out release.
Marchie's trying to push it over. Only going to get that top guy. Still leaves Dropkin line 2. You like him underneath the corner?
No.
I didn't think you would.
Well, it's a question of what you think Scott Howard's going to do, and they must think he's going to try to blast something. I don't. I think he's going to throw a hack waiter and try to hit it right on the nose. And then this rock on the corner is not going to do you any good.
So Andrew Stapera going to try to draw underneath that long corner guard. Got to get past the guard first. You do. It's going to stick out the other side, I think.
That won't matter. That'll be fine.
And almost as if you read his mind, he's going to throw a hack waiter.
Yeah. Well, you stay frozen on it if you get tight to that guard. With the hack weight, they can get a little bit of finish as well. And the problem that'll create for Korey Dropkin is he's going to need 2 shots to get it out of there.
So Matt Cam with a key shot at this end coming up. They say it's a hair big. March trying to drag it over there. They're not going to get up to the nose. I think there's room for Dropkin to pick that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And take the long roll. And now we're talking about 3. Good communication there, because tough to see that from 150 feet away exactly how those angles are lined up. Very important the shooter believes in the shot. Tom Howell. Now Sapera trying to work it over. Going to get the hit, roll it all the way over and all the way behind, and probably a little spin back at the end. Great shot by Tom Howell.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. And it's not great. It's not a comfortable attempt, but it's what you've got to get out of trouble here.
So for those that didn't read the mind, you're saying run your red back and make the double.
Yeah, or even just as long as it's the hit and roll. There's a couple of options. What he's talking about there is if you run it back just a hair on the high side, your shooter rolls over, and then the raised stone makes the hit on the yellow and maybe rolls it behind the red too. You could roll it all the way over to the one that was just thrown. You could make the double on the one that was just thrown, but that's not necessary as long as you roll in buried back there.
Well, they're definitely going for the bigger shot here. Matt Cam. This needs to move. Get the one and kick it right by, and that is not good. It's a good point. You can't take everything away.
Well, if it gets to the inside of the yellow, that same kind of run back is just going to jam something. That's going to leave you shot rock at least. There's no in-turn draw because of where the corner guard is.
So Team Dropkin in the driver's seat here in 5. Trying to make sure they stay there. Fender on it now. It did jump just a touch. They're by with plenty of room.
They don't really want to go because of the weight.
Does Scott ever take on that out-turn draw?
Well, they talked about it, and he could. It's not easy. And you're looking at giving up a really big end if you bounce off. The raise isn't easy either, but there's a lot of good options off the raise. Might get the raise double. Well, there's two raise doubles, really. If you're thin on the first one, it might come across onto the one at the side of the 12. Hit it just right. You could double out the shot in the second stone. Looks like they're making the same attempt. The out turn, try to hit it just a sliver low. You might get the double on the yellows. Spill you hit it right. The raise stone will come to the left as we look at Matt Cam in the house.
Scott Howard with his first in a load of trouble.
And they're sweeping for curl right out of his hand again.
That's going to shoot just by, and it didn't get any better with that.
No, maybe worse.
I see that first indication to draw to the top four.
As much as anything else, this is just about taking away the draw for Scott. He might have the in-turn draw now, but it's going to be tough. I'm not positive it's there. He'll probably chisel off the yellow that's mostly behind cover and try to roll over into the side, and that's just to hold him to probably a shot for three.
Korey Dropkin, who's shown great use of the hammer when he's had it this weekend, has a good chance to do that here.
He's had a couple of big ends earlier today, always going away from the glass too. Scored 4 in the 5th in the quarterfinal, scored 5 in the 7th in the semi. If he puts the draw in a good spot here where Scott Howard has to try some draw on the other end, he could be a shot for 6 this end if Scott doesn't have anything he can hit.
This is just a skosh heavy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think he gets away with that.
Yeah, there's no world that you're going to make that go away, I don't think.
Well, you're not going to make it go away. I mean, Scott might be able to get to it and move the back one enough that Scott's second shot. That's probably the best he can hope for. But it's scary because if you're trying to throw enough weight to move anything and you roll off it all, it is a shot for 6, and you're probably shaking hands. Even if you dead freeze in your third, it's hard right now for Korey to get another rock in there from the other side. There's not a lot of room. Corner guard's in the way of the in-turn draw. The out-turn draw would be going away from the center line.
Could he use maybe Scott's red rock to shove it off?
Well, I mean, it really depends where Scott's ends up.
Oh, for sure. But this shot has to be made well, or it's not going to look good for Team Howard.
It doesn't look good for Team Howard anyway. Yeah, I mean, there could be the chase. He could chase the yellow onto the one that's about to be thrown, too. Yellow in the top 8 foot. I don't think there's any way he could hurt himself. This has got to be locked right on the face.
Scott Howard with his last of the fifth, absolutely critical shot here. He needs to weld this on to the Dropkin stone. A lot pretty good. And that is probably absolutely the best you could possibly throw it. Cut him all the way down to 1.
Thomas Howell's first thought was to blast it. That might be I think if you blast it, it looks like the red's going straight sideways into the yellow on the edge of the 12. You could run red onto yellow onto red. There's ways that could go really wrong.
Potential game-saving shot there by Scott Howard.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. The big blast hitting it on the outside is probably there, but I have a feeling it's only for 2 because it looks like the red would go all the way across dead into that yellow at the side of the 12. You're going to lose your shooter. You're going to lose the back yellow.
It might spin enough up a little bit.
It might. The problem with running the red one back is there's actually a way you could hit it where you'd kill the 3 yellows and leave the 2 reds. So I don't think you can play that.
Just going to draw. So that's a huge victory for Scott Howard.
Well, and I'm not 100% sure the draw's there, but they're going to try it. It doesn't look great, with that long corner guard. By the time you're by that, you've got to get by the stone in the top of the 8. Now, you might be able to rub off of it and get a piece of the 4 foot on the other side for 2.
Maybe add a little extra rotation.
If it's in your repertoire, yeah.
Korey Dropkin. Final stone of the 5th end. They sit 1. Got to draw the button for 2. This does have a fair amount of rotation. Got to get past the second one. It's going to be really close to that guy. Can they drag it across?
Doesn't have the weight.
Does not have the weight. And it'll be a single point for Korey Dropkin. And an absolute game-saving draw there by Scott Howard. We're all tied up at 3. We'll be back from Martensville right after this. You're watching Curling Stadium. Back here, end number 6 of a tied-up affair between Scott Howard and Korey Dropkin. And let's take one more look at that great draw by Scott Howard. An absolute game saver there, Shawn.
Yeah, and that little tap, I was trying to get a quick look at that. I think he needed it. I think he needed to move that last little bit to get second shot. If he just comes to the nose, the line that he did, I think it's still too yellow. So critical that he actually had that weight to tap it back a couple of inches. And amazing that he still got the curl.
And we were thinking we might have been looking at handshakes, and now Scott Howard has the advantage with the even end hammer. That one probably just a touch deeper than they would have liked.
Yeah.
Dropkin going to try to take advantage of that and freeze on into it. Your back 12 weight called. Unlocks the stone in the back. Does hang on.
And leaves the angle on the 2 at the 4 foot that goes by that stone at the back 12 foot right now. Without saying it, Korey calling down saying, you see what you just saw there? Try to do the same thing. Tap theirs back and don't leave it lined up for it.
Not bad.
Yeah, he did leave it still lined up to the back one, but he's got the top 2 lined up well enough that Scott can't get to the inside of it just yet, I don't think. It kind of looks like the way they're lined up. If he hits it right on the nose with hack, the red comes back and gets the center line side of the yellow a little bit, rolls over, and that should leave, again, the 2 at the top lined up to go by it. He's had a couple of in-out releases on this, going this direction, and he's got to get to the nose here. Not getting to the nose.
They do arrange the deck chairs a little bit. It's shot stone in the back for Scott Howard. Dropkin 2. 3-4 belonging to Howard.
Wow, this is a lot of weight. The shot that he's looking for would be a little easier if the red was just a little bit higher.
7-5, a pretty firm peel weight.
It's because he needs to roll so flat. Yeah, I was never sure that was there. I don't think the red was high enough. So now he's left the nose hit double on the yellows. Sit 3. You can hit it nose, you can hit anywhere on the high side as well and roll away, but then I think you leave the freeze. He is looking for a little roll away. I'd be tempted to hit it right on the nose. It's good. He got the nose hit. Might be a triple available on the red. There is a yellow just off the rings at the back. It's going to be tough to get all 3 reds to go. Makes contact with them all, but jammed 1. Can't leave the freeze, so you have to go around. Boy, they're going to have to work to get any piece of this behind. He's going to leave the draw on the out turn. Doubles there as well. Korey'd be happy with a blank end right here, but this looks like an opportunity. You got the out turn draw, put it right on the face.
See what Tom Hal does.
Yeah, they talk about right down to the face. Now, if they're right down to the face, there's room for another one, but it's not looking good for scoring more than one for Scott Howard if you get into that position. And I'm not sure what happened to that one, but it is well short.
Very, very short, Shawn.
They were leaning on it hard early, but just leaning on the brooms. I didn't see a lot of brush stroking. I don't know whether it was that light out of his hand or whether they think it picked. We are getting, into 6. It could be fudging down in the middle. I didn't really hear anything either from any of the players to indicate what they thought happened to that one.
So coming around for Matt Cam now.
Well, and now you don't mind so much that you were short on the last one because it cuts off that other turn. What do? You're Korey Dropkin. You
got to move something for sure.
His first thought was to play the double, the one in the 12-foot to the one that was just thrown. And even if you make that and get them both out, and it's not guaranteed that you're getting them both out, Scott comes around again to the top of the button, and it still could be 3.
So ideally, if you can walk down and place one, where are you putting it? Oh, that's bad if you don't have an answer.
Well, it's a tough situation. There's no good draws available. Yeah, doesn't.
Talking about a thick half on it.
Depends what you throw for weight. If you ever hit it, the danger here with this shot, you play it and you dead jam it on the one that was just thrown, which means it's still in your way. Scott lobs another one around, and you're probably looking at 4. you've got less chance of doing that if you throw with more weight. But if you throw more weight, you got to take tighter broom, and that means you're flirting with the guards. Korey doesn't have a problem throwing it hard. He's got that in his repertoire for sure. But the closer you get to those guards, the more risk there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem right there, is as long as it rolls off. Well, what if it dead stuffs, which it could do? Now, the harder you throw it, the less likely that is, because it'll get some action. But again, the harder you throw it, you have to start closer to those guards. You're not going to get any curl.
We're doing a lot of housekeeping here. This is going to come with some pace for sure. Korey Dropkin with his first. Very tight to the guard. They get the double and make it. Big shot from Korey there.
Yeah, not out of trouble yet. That's all he could do with that one.
You see this one, they basically hit everything they could see.
And really had to. I mean, even with that weight, if it doesn't take that big spin. So if you hit that a little bit thinner, I don't know if it leaves the rings. Still, Scott Howard gets to the top button here, and you're still facing the same problem. How do you even get second shot to try not to give him a draw for 3?
Potentially ask Scott Howard to throw a miracle draw for you.
This is not getting to the top of the button.
This is light indeed. And on the guards. Ooh, that's a big miss.
Well, and it probably takes away the out turn draw now. If you can make this in turn freeze,
you might be looking at a steal all of a sudden.
You might, yeah. You don't even want to be right to it. 3 inches of air between the two of them probably means that Scott can't move it far enough to be shot rock. If you're right down to it, I think you're just behind the tee line.
It's a potential turning point here for Korey Dropkin. Chance to get one in there for shot stone and have Scott Howard looking at a potential steal. His final of the 6th. Got to go hard. This is jumping on him. Got to get past the guard. He can never wreck. They squeeze it by. Do we have the weight to get there? Oh, what a big scrub by the boys to get it there. Shot stone. Korey Dropkin.
I think he's going to play for the blank. Hard to get there to get shot rock. I mean, you could if you get right to the nose. But you play the run back. Because of the angle it's coming in from, the yellow-red should both go. And if you're fortunate, you spill the raise stone as well. And we could be looking at a blank here.
We got back-to-back ends with incredible draws by the skips. That one was brushers all day. Scott Howard, final stone of event number 6. Looking to blank his way out of this.
There's a way you could make contact with this and still give up one.
Back and forth. We're on it. Move it. And it'll be a single point for Scott Howard. And they take a 4-3 lead. We'll be back in a moment from Martensville. Right to this. You're watching Curling Stadium. Back in Martensville, Korey Dropkin has the hammer here. First stone of the end by Tim March was hogged. So this is the first from Mark Fenner. And this is going to just nibble the rings.
And that's just about as horrible. It's a rock where Scott could play the hit on it now. Scott doesn't really want to see a blank here. Could throw another attempt at a guard.
Oh, you hear the strategy there. The front end wants Scott to have the hammer in the eighth, even if they give up 2 now.
Yeah, well, we talked about this in the semifinal. You don't see teams think about this very often, but if you want the hammer, you have to be prepared to risk giving up 2 here. A single point on the board either way is great for Scott Howard. But if their preference going home would be to have the hammer, then you have to be willing to risk giving up 2 here, because you can't let them have a blank end.
This one touching the rings.
But if you get a nose hit, you don't have to be in. The first thought was to roll in. I like staying in the free guard zone. Just because that rock stayed out of the rings, it's going to make a blank end. I mean, there's a lot of rocks to come. Things can change, but for now, it's making a blank end look tougher.
So the Howard stone has just touched into the rings now.
Yeah. It's a tough spot right now for the Howard team. You know that Korey Dropkin's likely going to be playing some hits. I figure he's probably wanting the hammer coming home. You already have the 2 stones that are in play are grouped.
So they go away with 1. So you're thinking of maybe just splitting the rings here some if you're Scott.
It looks like that's what they're playing. And it's tough. If you're trying to split rings and hold a force, you're on the second's first stone. You got to hold it for 6. That's really tough.
So they do lie the 2. Now, what does Dropkin do here?
Well, I'm thinking the nose hit on the yellow's got to be close to coming over there.
Angle looks pretty good for it, really.
Yeah, well, leaves your shooter up front. He's trying it the other way. Just roll the shooter across and maybe get a biter out of the raised stone.
I think we concur.
Well, that was my first thought.
So here's Andrew Stapera. Gonna get it. It's gonna skitter on over, and they're gonna park it right in front. That is a nice effort there. And the blank is very much in play now.
Blank is in play. If it's back to the other side where Korey Dropkin can decide if he'd rather be one up, and there are teams that would prefer the lead at any time. He's going to have an opportunity to play offense on his next shot if he really wants to score two. He can come around their own corner guard. This is going to have to roll to leave some kind of an angled pocket. He could freeze into that too.
They say this is really down weight. Cam trying to hold it for all of his life. Not happy with that one. Really not happy with that one. So, nose hit here for Stapera.
If it was later in the end, you might not even hit this. You're already shot at the back. You come around the corner. What does Scott Howard do?
Well, it's the old line you always say that, if you might just be forced to take three.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, if you made the come around, the only one that he can really get at is the one at the back of the 8. Even if that was for shots, you could freeze to it. He blasts it out. You come around again, and three's on the table. It's just that it's still pretty early in the end, and you give Scott Howard too many chances to get out of it again. If that had been third's last stone, I think you go around.
It's thrown away from Matt Cam. And get the hit and the roll. They do clear it out. Chance to hit this and roll underneath your own corner here.
Yeah, I think you're going the other way. If by the time you get behind the corner, you'd be pretty close to behind the tee line, and then it's one freeze away from taking the end away. That's what I was thinking.
Here's Hal. Now Stapera trying to push it over just a touch. It's going to do it, slide it by, and roll it over. Very nice outcome.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Scott will look to roll back in front of the Yellowstone, and after the exchange of hits and rolls, it'll be a little tighter to the yellow one this time if he makes the roll right in front of it.
Matt Cam with his second. It's a close to in front. It's going to force Korey to go the other way, most likely.
Yeah, I that's what I think. You're rolling well past the guard here. Yeah, I disagree. You roll dead behind the guard, behind the T line. He's drawn all day. But if you roll all the way across to the 12 foot on the other side, I think we're at the point in the end where he won't have time to set anything up.
The second from Tom Howe. Now on the curl side. Going to push it, going to get the big roll over. Oh, that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Got to hit the open one now.
Yep. He's looking for basically the exchange of hits now. You hit on the nose, you hope that Dropkin hits on the nose, and then you might have angle to make a double. And that's just to get out of the end.
Here's the first from Scott Howard. And number 7.
And we talked about it early in the end, though, too. If he wants the hammer coming home, he always had to be prepared to risk giving up 2. He can't risk giving up 3.
And the nose. Korey will try to roll away a little bit to make the double exceedingly difficult.
You have to be a little careful with this. You roll into the 12 foot. Scott's going to try to hit the other one and flop underneath. Which he might do anyway.
The first for Dropkin. And number 7. Looking to hit and flop a little bit to the outside here. This is coming up on them. They will get a hit. They'll get a little bit of a roll. Is it enough?
No. And if Scott makes the double, I think he's dead buried. Even if he doesn't kick the second one all the way out, if he just gets into the side of it and just nudges it, he's still dead buried. Korey's got a tough shot, and it's never for more than 2.
Well, we've seen Scott Howard make so many of these this weekend. A quad, a couple triples in the same game, and another one earlier today. Try to dial up one more. Scott Howard looking for the double. On the curl side right off the bat. This is going to catch too much of it. It's going to be an open hit for 2 for Korey Dropkin.
I go back to what they said at the start of the end. I don't think Scott Howard's team could be disappointed in this. They said early on they wanted to have the hammer coming home. Well, you had to be willing to risk giving up 2. They've done it. They've got the hammer coming home. They'll try to score their 2 for the win. Korey Dropkin's, they've got a strong hitting team. They're probably comfortable being up 1 too. This may be a case where both teams are right where they think they want to be, and it's the battle of the that's the old saying now is, would you rather be 1 up coming home without last rock or 1 down with? And you might have 2 teams here that have a different answer to that, and we'll see which one it works out for.
Korey makes his deuce in 7. We're coming back for at least one more end. After this from Martensville, you're watching Curling Stadium. Welcome back to Martensville. It's the Curling Stadium, Martensville International. It's the finals between Scott Howard and Korey Dropkin. I'm Dave Schmel, joined by Shawn, Joyce, and all of you watching. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done it yet, please smash that like button. Helps us out with the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed to Curling Zone, what are you waiting for? Keeps you up to news and up to date on everything in curling. It was a deuce for Dropkin in end number 7. Scott Howard has the hammer here in the 8th. And Shawn, what do you expect out of the teams right now?
Guards. Lots and lots of guards. Scott's going to want to try to get his deuce, so he's going to throw the corner. And I think, we see this all the time in these situations, that really the easiest way to defend against the corner guards, because you can't hit them until, if you're throwing first, it's the 7th stone of the end before you can hit a corner guard. You can't hit it yet on your 5th. So the easiest way to defend against the corners is to plug up the middle yourself and try to draw the play to the middle. And so it becomes a really interesting game of cat and mouse. It's fun to watch these ends and the way they'll develop. I wouldn't be surprised to see a second center guard here. Oh, we missed seeing where he was pointing. That could be ace for the come around.
On the way for Mark Fenner. They are playing the come around. And they made it.
Yes. Tim March will try to freeze. Depending on how well it's made. Korey Dropkin's going to have to bring another rock to the center line somehow.
This one needs to walk over to be a good freeze.
Yeah, you probably have to come into the house now. You can't just throw a second guard up there with that angle.
So looking to freeze to the inside of this stone that was just thrown is Andrew Stepera. Heard them mention that the ice is straightening up just a touch here. Right to it. Do they get the angle they want? Probably not.
No, that needed to curl a ton. Nose hit kills both yellows. And you don't have to whip it. You don't have to kill both. It'd be nice to kill the one out of the top 8 and at least move the other one back. You could throw this with whatever weight you like, hack, bumper, or if you want to throw weight, you could throw weight. There's a little bit of air to the inside. He's actually happy enough with the angles there right now. He's just going to freeze this. I can't blame him. The yellow angle is horrible for Korey Dropkin and great for Scott Howard. You don't have to play it yet. You saw what he was gesturing. He said, we've always got the run through as long as we make this freeze. This is a long ways out there too, though.
This is going to have to come behind now.
Yeah, this is plan, I don't know, B is probably not far enough down the alphabet. Plan E or so. It's not bad. It works. Korey has to do something with those rocks at the top because the angle is just horrible for him.
I think Korey's looking to just jostle him a touch.
Yeah, the angle on the yellow-red's still going to be bad. There's nothing he can do about that on one shot.
So here's some good discussion here. Just throwing T-line weight at it. It's going to do what they want it to do. So we change the angles a little bit. Do we change them enough, Shawn?
Probably not.
I guess if you run the yellow guard straight back now, you can probably lose the Howard stone.
Yeah, you're losing at least one yellow with it, maybe two. Keep in mind that stone at the back of the 8-foot could still end up on the scoreboard for the winning point. It's another shot for who we had, Jason Cam here, still to get, if he get into the pocket that was just formed in that yellow red, he's still got a good angle onto that shot stone. And really two red stones that Korey Dropkin's going to have a hard time moving. Well, the last one didn't curl. This one's going sideways.
Will they hold the angle that they want?
They could chisel and still get it.
Yeah.
That's not horrible. It's a little farther over to the left as we look at it than they would have liked. But, you know, Korey can't do a lot of great things with that stone.
He's going to refreeze the new pocket.
You got to be careful with that.
The run back possibly could kill the rock that was just thrown and the red, but
I'd be tempted. I don't love that either. I'd be tempted if they can get there. And I mean, it certainly looked like you could earlier in the week or even earlier in the game, but it is fudging down the middle. If you could tap the stone at the top of the 8-foot, just move it up about 6 inches on a bit of an angle so that you've got the slash in from the other turn and leave your shooter in the pocket that would be formed then. I kind of like that. It's tough. I'm not sure just freezing the pocket does him any good because it might leave the slash on the red. Slash the red into the yellow-red combination, and and kill shot stone.
Well, we missed at least one joke. They're yucking it up back there.
This should take care of that stone at the back 8 foot anyway. That might be the only one that leaves here.
Probably a pretty good result if it goes. Here's Tom Howell. Hard on the curl side. Needs to move. Gonna kill that one in the back. Leaves a lonely one on the button. Second and third belong to Scott Howard. It probably got better.
Yeah. Be looking for the yellow-red tap to the side of the 4 foot right now, and don't think he wants to be right on the nose. He doesn't want to leave it lined up, I don't think.
So I said back 12 weight.
Yeah, you lose a little bit with each of the transfers, and you're playing a double tap. Plus, I don't think he's trying to be right on the nose, so he needs close to back 12 to get this to the tee line, because there's 2 rocks that have to move.
They love the weight. Jumped on him a touch.
Well, maybe a little farther back than they would have liked, but it's still third shot. That yellow at the top of the 8 foot that's available could be driven onto the red-yellow combination. So hard for Korey to leave it alone.
You see there, it's shot stone for Korey Dropkin, second and third belonging to Scott Howard. How do you like that option?
Well, it might be all he's got right now. The problem is that whatever you make up there, you can't really roll very far with your shooter. And we're at the point in the end where Scott Howard's probably going to have to play the yellow onto the red-yellow with the next one. And that's the problem. You can't, there's nothing Korey can do to really roll away so that that's not an option for Scott Howard. So you probably have to hit this pretty close to right on the nose. If you can't hit it on the outside, or you'll do it for him. If you're to the inside of the yellow, you probably roll over and change the angle on the red-yellow at the top of the 8 foot. And right now, I think Korey Dropkin likes that angle because that's something he could use later on. So this is pretty much a nose hit. Have it come straight back, catch the red at the back of the 8 foot, roll to the back of the 4 foot somewhere. He knows Scott Howard's probably going to use the shooter to make a play on the shot rock. And then you have to react to where everything lies after that.
Back and forth. It must be pretty close. Rolled to the back four. They like to.
Pretty good. That's the best he could do, I think.
Take another look at it, Shawn.
They didn't any more than get by the 2 stones at the top of the 4 foot. Like, it just came up enough at the end. If that rubs that at all, it can only help Scott Howard.
You even got to see Korey Dropkin exhibit his gazelle-like jumping ability.
I think you have to play the yellow, red, yellow. I'm not seeing anything else.
So the yellow they just touched onto the red, onto the other yellow.
Yeah. Well, I guess the only other thing I'm seeing, and whether or not this is tough, I don't see any way you could hurt yourself. You could hit the yellow on the outside a little bit, try to touch one of the other two stones, be it the red or the yellow, and it spins off the back of that and still catches the red yellow, but it would at least mess up that angle at the top.
Really tough choice to make right here.
Well, and the other question is, if you're playing this, how much weight are you playing with? Because you don't have a way to get the stone out of the back of the forefoot. So if you play the yellow, red, yellow combination, you have to try to keep something around for an in-off, either the raised stone or the stone that's at the top of the button now. Which probably means you're throwing just about hack weight. Because the redstone's still not going to be shot rock after you throw this. I don't think. I don't think it spins in enough.
Yeah, I don't see a world where that happens. You still have those angles in the front that Korey's been preserving the whole time. Solid normal weight you just heard.
Yeah, he's trying to get rid of the yellows and just roll the shooter over enough to maybe give an opportunity to slash it onto the one at the back, I think. I think that's what they're looking at. He's got to roll a good foot for that anyway. He's got to roll far enough to give himself room to slash it by the red.
On the way for Matt Cam. Marchie tried to push it over. Now back to Cam. Make contact. That was still a whole bunch of yellow racks.
That was one of the options I talked about. Could you touch one of those two in the middle? And you couldn't have touched. I mean, he touched that as clean as you could. Picked the yellow clean sideways, came back, touched the shot, second shot. And when the dust clears, he's got second at the top of the forefoot. The angles now aren't as good for Korey Dropkin because that red is lined up to the yellow.
They're thinking about just drawing the lid now.
Well, that's scary too. You ever leave a double, you lose.
And my advice would be to not leave a double in that case.
Well, easier said than done. It's
Is the red, well, the yellow into the red even there?
Oh, yeah. Depending what the...
As long as you make them both go, you're not losing now.
To get both reds to go?
Yeah,
I don't think both reds... there's probably a way to hit it to do it. It's tough.
I don't think anything's going to be easy at this point, buddy.
Well, but here's the thing. Are you making... Like, if you lose the yellow at the back of the forefoot, yes, you could still lose. And B, you're also opening up a lot more scoring area. Like right now, it's hard for... Scott Howard doesn't have shot rock yet. And he doesn't have a guaranteed way to get it.
So,
if you blast everything out of the middle, he's drawing around the corner. He's got backing and a corner guard.
So, pointing at the lid and maybe just corner freezing onto the red there in the forefoot. I don't mind that, honestly. The corner freeze. You probably actually generate an angle that if Scott tried to run something into it, you lose stones instead of gain them. Put it right there.
Yeah. Now that's not easy. That edge of that stone is what, 2 to 3 inches underneath the stone that's biting the top of the 8-foot.
That appears to be the call. The broom goes down.
If you don't get underneath the stone at the top of the 8-foot, you could leave a double on the yellows. If you come behind the red stone, you could leave a double on the yellows. You're not playing with a lot of space here.
Well, if you joined us, thank you. And we've been treated to a good one this evening from Martensville. Scott Howard trying to generate a score for the win. Korey Dropkin holding a 1 rock advantage. Trying this delicate draw here. His first of 2 here in end number 8. They're on it right off the bat. Fenner and Stapera. Got to drag it there. A little light.
Yeah, I think he gets away with it there.
Okay, explain to the class, Shawn.
Well, it's high enough up that I don't think he can drive it by. Okay, so somebody tripped over the rock coming by. I don't think he can drive it by the red and catch the back one. I mean, if it was the last shot of the game, it was all you had, you maybe would give it a try, but it's very tough. Like if he's on that line 2 feet deeper, there's a double on the yellows.
You see the difference? All the people out there, the patrons are very intently watching the conclusion here.
They're not looking at playing that angle running on the guard right now. They're looking at it as, well, we've got that if we need it for the win. So can he set something up on the other side? If you know you've got 2 shots, you can't take both of them away. The first thing I saw them indicate was if you could chip the, looks like it's the 7 stone sitting there, that red stone, if you could chip it, touch the side of the red, spin it in, and have your shooter come over, almost like a split. You know, that's a great result. The problem is that guard's pretty much directly in front of the red. Those kinds of shots have been available all weekend long, but as you get into the later ends, when you're trying to draw that close to center, there's been some fudging. And you saw the Korey's last shot came up well short of what they had intended. And that could catch Scott here too. He's looking at coming a little bit wider and try to get past his own at the top of the 4-foot and maybe leave angle. And he'll be in better path. Like he won't get into the middle path. And this could very easily slide too far for him if that's what they decide to play.
So that middle path where all the sliding has been done, and just that pebble tends to get worn down a little bit more.
Yeah. Would you ever play the double tap right now? Yellow onto red onto red? They're lined up to go straight back.
Well, if you throw it at a shot your opponent can't make, but then
Yeah.
do you get enough of a look at that Yellowstone that was just thrown to kill them both?
Well, no, I don't. It depends. I guess it depends how much separation you end up on the two of them when you play the tap back. Boy, I don't think I'm throwing it with this much weight. He's throwing that shot. He's throwing it as a full weight hit. Yellow onto red, onto red, onto yellow at the back of the forefoot. He could sit two if he absolutely sticks it. Okay, he's throwing it as a hit. I wouldn't call this full weight. With that much ice, he's probably throwing like bumper. Just so they can control it a little bit with the brushes.
Scott Howard with an absolutely crucial shot here. His first of two in the eighth. Starting to curl a lot now. Did they over rush it? Get the one, tap it.
Well, it worked. That's funny with the ice they were playing. I thought they were trying to move everything. That was only a hack weight call with 3 rocks to move. He was always playing it as a double tap.
They do have shot rock.
Korey thought about this coming through the port. It's a tight port. You're going to lose the back yellow, but if you make the roll underneath, you'll be fine. If you hit it on the nose, you're losing the back yellow, and then Scott comes through the port for the win.
Port is certainly there.
It's there to get to the rock. I mean, if you're going to throw the weight to get through there, there's danger of rolling too far. Like if you roll to where he's tapping with the broom, and I don't know if he's thinking to roll there or he's worried that he rolls there, there's room for Scott to come through the port on the in-turn between the two red guards, get to your shooter, and he would only have to tap it back a bit.
This is eighth end. If they're still tied, they'll play an extra. He's going to take it on.
Boy, this is a tough roll with 11. You got to make sure you're by the red one at the top of the forefoot. That means you're only hitting maybe an inch off the nose and still trying to roll a little more than a rock's width.
Korey Dropkin and their squad from Duluth. Final stone of the eighth of theirs. Can they navigate it? They're on it right away. Can it get through the hole? It does.
Actually, I don't think it did. I think it touched the other rock.
Might have whiskered it just a skosh.
Wow, he leaves himself right in the hole.
Yep.
Scott Howard's got the nose hit. See if we can catch this on the replay. I thought he was looking good for the roll, and then I think it rubbed and redirected right into that stone.
Oh, it did just touch it just a hair.
And that's why he didn't get the roll. That little bit of a rub directed it right into the red stone and not able to get the roll. And so Scott Howard has the chance for the nose hit.
So Scott Howard, facing one, needs to make the nose takeout and stick for the win.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're not playing an extra end, because I don't see how he can only score one. He's either getting two or he's not making it through the board. There's no way to roll out.
Scott Howard, his final stone of the 8th. Got to be through the port for the win. Say it's a hair big. Already on the curl side. Can they move it over enough? Can they move it over enough and get it past the guard? No, they can't. And it's going to be a steal of one for Korey Dropkin, and he wins the Curling Stadium Martensville International in a thriller of a final. Take us through this one.
You know, you see so many of these top players have learned to throw their rock straight, a little in out on that release. And as you get close to the center line late in the game, it just would not take the finish. They were on it for curl all the way down, just rubs the top one. He might have been a little spooked by it too. You heard him just before he threw it say he needed a little more. So, you know, he was probably envisioning that rock curling. That might have contributed to the little in out on the release. Whenever you think the rock's going to curl, you'll tend to do that. That rock just stayed right there for him.
My goodness, what a treat of a game to watch. And it is Korey Dropkin from the USA winning this tournament. And a big weekend for them. And they played great games all along, really, Shawn.
Yeah, they did. I didn't have a chance to see them through the preliminary round, but their last draw of the preliminary, they were 2-1. They knew their draw to the button wasn't very good, so it was a must-win game, and they had a strong game against a team that was in contention for the playoffs as well. And then today, they were a powerhouse. They didn't have last rock in the first end in a single game. They stole the control point early in every game. They made so many digs around guards today. I think I only saw them miss one all day, but they made, I don't know, it had to be at least a dozen. Like they were on. They knew the ice. They knew the weight. They had a great day, great game, great Bondsville.
Well, that'll do it here from Martensville. For Shawn, Joyce, Matt Hone on our production, Kai in our London, Ontario studios, thank you so much for watching Curling Stadium. Have a great evening.